All right, Joe. Welcome. Happy New Year. 2021 is on its way. We're going to go through, finish off 7-4 today here. We're going to talk about solving right triangles. What that means is we are going to find all measures of sides and all measures of degree measurements in angles, right? So we're finding all the missing sides, all the missing angles, okay? So a couple things to look at. We're going to be use a Pythagorean theorem today. We're going to be using the idea that all angles add up to 180, and we are going to use sine, cosine, and tangent. So we're taking all that information we've learned together, throwing it together. You need to pick out what you need to use, all right? So first thing I like to do is write down what information is given, figure out, all right, this is what I have, because in the end, to get started on any of this, you're going to be given a right triangle, 3 sides, 3 angles. They're going to give you 3 bits of information. You have to find the other 3 bits of information is what's going to happen, okay? So write down that information. If they give you 2 sides, you're going to use trig to solve for an angle. And then when they give you 2 sides, you're going to use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for the 3rd side. All right? And then step 4, if you have to use trig ratio, use a trig ratio for the sides, remaining sides and angles. You're going to have to use trig 1 time. After that, it's going to be up to you on how you go through and solve, and I'll show you an idea or a difference between the 2 ways, okay? All right, so here's the 3 hints. Add to 180, Pythagorean theorem, SOHCAHTOA. All right, so here we got A, B, C. They give us angle A is 39 degrees. Angle C is the 90-degree angle. And then AC is 6, okay? So what we have to do, since they only give us 1 side, we're going to have to use trig to find out one of the other sides, okay? Angle B is pretty much going to be done because we have 3 angles of a triangle. They add to 180. So you could just do 90 minus 39, which is 51. Or you can add 90 and 51 together, subtract from 180, or sorry, 90 and 39 together, subtract from 180, you're going to get 51. Okay, so they give us, now we have all 3 angles, now we got to find the 2 remaining sides. I'm just going to find out side BC. So using my opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse, I'm going to use the adjacent and the opposite, which is tangent. The tangent of 39 is equal to opposite x over adjacent, which is 6. Cross multiply, x is equal to 6 times the tangent of 39. And since now from here we are approximating, our answers are going to be a little different depending on how we decide to go through and solve from here, but 4.86 if I have everything in there correctly. So we get, what is that? BC is about 4.86. All right. Then we have to find out the 3rd side. In this case, it's AB. We'll call that Y if we want to. You could set up another trig ratio, or I would do A squared plus B squared equals C squared. 6 squared plus 4.86 squared is equal to the hypotenuse squared. And then we get 59.6196 is equal to y squared. And then we'll take the square root of that. And that gives us y is about 7.72. That's how I would do it. You could have, right, if you want to go back here, using our information, you could have used the adjacent side and the hypotenuse and set up the cosine. But I think use the trig function and then use the Pythagorean theorem is going to be a lot easier for us. Okay, so once you get that 2nd side, use the Pythagorean theorem to get to the 3rd side. If not, I should see, I should see the cosine of 39 is equal to 6 over x. And then x is going to equal 6 divided by the cosine of 39. 6 divided by the cosine of 39 is 7.720, right? So you should be getting the same thing or approximately the same thing, all right? So we're going to go down to the next one. You try this out, give the information. We'll call this angle C. You kind of figure out your plan, pause the video, try it out, and then I will go through and do this. Okay. All right, since I know two sides of a right triangle, I'm going to do the Pythagorean theorem. This is the hypotenuse of the C value. So we're going to do 7 squared plus 2 squared equals C squared. Okay, 49 plus 4 is equal to C squared. So take the square root of 53. That's about 7.28. I have all three sides. Now I got to find out an angle. We'll just find out angle A. We'll set up a trig ratio. This is the opposite side. This is the adjacent side. So we're going to use opposite and adjacent, which is tangent. So we'll say the tangent of A is equal to 2 over 7. When we're solving for an angle measure, we use the inverse function, so tangent inverse of 2 over 7. Type that into our calculator, and we'll round to the nearest degree for this guy, 15.94. We'll round that to 16 degrees. Now we have three angles of a triangle. Add the two together, subtract from 180, or this has to be 74 degrees because 16 and 74 has to equal 90 because the other third angle is 90 degrees. So either way, that's how we're going to do it, all right? So use trig one time. Everything else could be Pythagorean theorem or add to 180, all right? Third example. Pause the video. You try it out. I'm just going to label all the stuff that we got. That's 90. AB is 26, AC is 24. So again, on this one, I would use the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus 24 squared equals 26 squared. All right, A squared is going to equal 100 when you subtract the 24 squared. Take the square root. A is equal to 10. That's nice. Pythagorean triple, 3 whole number side lengths. We would call that a Pythagorean triple. And then now we would just pick out an angle to solve for. I'll call this angle A. And it doesn't matter which ones you use because they have all three. This is the adjacent side, hypotenuse, and opposite. I'll use the 24 and 26, so that would be the cosine. So the cosine of A is 24 over 26. So A is going to equal the cosine inverse of 24 over 26. And that, my friends, is 22.619, and we'll call that 23 degrees, right? If you would have used opposite and adjacent, right? So if you did tangent inverse of 10 over 24, guess what that's going to be? Tangent inverse of 10 over 24. Hey, that's at 22.619. So it doesn't matter which trig function you use when they give you all three sides to find the one angle. It's going to give you the same answer. Then you add and subtract from 180 and get 67 degrees. So when we go through today and it says solve, what we're doing is thinking of we have 6 bits of information to find, the 3 sides and the 3 angles. You're going to have to use trig one time. Then once you get that second side length, you can do Pythagorean theorem. If they give you 2 sides, use the Pythagorean theorem right away to find the third side. Then you're going to have to set up trig and do the inverse function, inverse sine, inverse cosine, and inverse tangent to find the angle measure. Add them up, subtract from 180. All right, so good luck. If you have any questions, please reach out.